Every morning, before you touch your phone, before you check your messages, take a moment and stand still. This is your mind's first test of the day. What you allow in. You allow to shape your thoughts, your choices, your actions. If you let chaos enter first, the day will follow that path. Discipline your mind first, and your day will follow. Every morning, the first thing you do sets the tone for your entire day. The mind is like a field. Whatever seeds you plant first will grow and shape the landscape of your thoughts. If you allow chaos, distraction, or worry to take root, they will dominate. If you begin with calm, focus, and intention, your mind becomes fertile for strength, clarity, and purpose. To control your mind first is not an abstract idea. It is the most practical action you can take. The moment you wake, you are faced with choices. You can scroll through messages, check the news, or let your mind be flooded with demands and noise. Or you can pause, breathe, and decide what is worth your attention. Every day, the world will try to pull you in different directions. People will make demands, situations will become urgent, and distractions will call out to you. If you start your day by letting them dictate your thoughts, you are giving away your power. But if you pause and take control of your own mind first, you determine how the rest of the day unfolds. Discipline begins with a single decision to be aware of your thoughts and to guide them rather than be guided by them. When your mind is controlled, your actions follow naturally. A calm, focused mind does not react impulsively. It does not give away energy to petty conflicts, meaningless gossip, or trivial frustrations. It evaluates, it chooses, it acts in alignment with what matters most. By taking control first, you create a filter through which the day's events pass. Events cannot disturb you beyond the limits you set. Anger, fear, and anxiety lose their power because your mind is already grounded. The practice is simple but requires consistency. Each morning, remind yourself that the first moments are yours to command. Breathe deliberately, center your attention, and recognize that external circumstances are outside your control. What is within your control is your judgment, your focus, and your choices. This early exercise in control is like a rehearsal for life itself. When challenges arise, as they always will, the mind that has been trained to act deliberately and calmly will meet them with clarity instead of chaos. You begin to see that your inner state does not have to mirror the outer world. You learn that no matter how turbulent life becomes, the mind that is disciplined from the start can remain steady. Each day, this practice compounds. It becomes easier to maintain calm, easier to avoid distractions, easier to act with reason rather than impulse. You develop an inner fortress that no insult, no inconvenience, no misfortune can breach. The first thought of the day, the first moment after waking is not small. It is the foundation upon which every decision, every action, every interaction will be built. By taking control here, you ensure that your mind governs your day instead of being governed by it. People may rush, chaos may come, but your mind, disciplined and alert from the first moment, acts as the anchor that steadies all else. The power is quiet, invisible to others, yet it shapes everything. You realize that success, calm, and clarity are not found in circumstances, but in the state of your own mind. The mind that is controlled first thing in the morning does not depend on luck, on others' behavior, or on favorable conditions. It depends solely on the choices you make, the focus you cultivate, and the calm you maintain. Each deliberate morning decision strengthens your ability to handle the day with resilience. Every thought you guide, every distraction you refuse, every moment you claim for yourself is an investment in a mind that cannot be shaken. This practice becomes a shield and a compass, guiding your actions, protecting your peace, and giving you mastery over your life. When the day's pressures mount, when people demand, when events push, the mind that was disciplined first is not easily bent. It can bend with reason, it can adapt with clarity, but it does not break. In controlling your mind first, you create a standard for every action and thought. You do not chase every impulse. You do not react to every provocation. You decide what deserves your energy, and you act with precision and awareness. This control builds confidence, focus, and an unshakable calm. It is not imposed from outside. It grows from the daily habit of commanding your own thoughts, beginning with the very first moment of the day. Each morning becomes a declaration that your mind, not circumstance, not chaos, not distraction, will determine the quality of your day. Challenges are not punishments, and difficulties are not obstacles meant to stop you. They are tests, opportunities for your mind to grow stronger, for your character to be forged in fire. Life will present situations that feel unfair, people who will frustrate you, and events that seem impossible to manage. It is natural to resist, to wish things were different, to feel anger or despair. Yet every challenge holds a lesson if you are willing to see it. The first step is perception. How you interpret an event determines how it affects you. A difficult situation is not inherently harmful. It becomes harmful only if you allow it to disturb your mind, if you give it the power to dictate your emotions, your thoughts, your actions. When you start seeing challenges as tests, you shift from victim to participant. You understand that the world is not acting against you, it is indifferent. Your response, however, is under your control. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to exercise patience, courage, and wisdom. Someone may insult you, someone may betray you. Circumstances may collapse in ways you did not anticipate. This is not a signal of failure, but a call to practice self-control, to respond with reason rather than reaction, to measure your actions and maintain your calm. In this way, difficulties become the tools of growth, shaping a mind that is resilient and adaptable. When you encounter a problem, pause before reacting. Examine it with clarity. What is under your control? What is not? Most of what troubles us is outside our control: the actions of others, the outcomes of events, the randomness of fortune. Only your judgment, your choices, and your character are truly yours. Recognizing this distinction allows you to meet challenges with composure. You begin to see that obstacles are temporary, and your reaction to them defines your experience. Do not seek to avoid challenges entirely. Avoidance is weakness disguised as prudence. Each challenge you face and overcome strengthens the mind and prepares you for the next. The greater the difficulty, the greater the opportunity for growth. Like a muscle, the mind gains strength through resistance. Problems are the weights you lift daily to build resilience, patience, and wisdom. If life feels unfair, remember that fairness is not the standard for growth. The standard is your response. A mind that can remain steady in the face of difficulty is invincible, in comparison to one that depends on circumstances for peace. When faced with a challenge, do not ask, "Why me?" Ask instead, "How will I meet this? What can I learn? How will this make me stronger?" These questions shift your focus from complaint to action, from despair to deliberate effort. Even the smallest challenges are tests. A rude remark, a delayed task, a minor inconvenience, all provide opportunities to practice composure, to train the mind to remain calm under pressure, to exercise patience and understanding. Over time, your perception changes. You begin to see life as a series of tests, each one designed to refine your judgment, temper your reactions, and deepen your understanding of what truly matters. Fear diminishes, anxiety lessens, because you know that challenges are not enemies but teachers. Every difficulty is a chance to practice self-discipline, to act according to your principles rather than your impulses, to choose reason over emotion. You grow stronger not because life is easy, but because you confront it honestly, fully, and without complaint. This approach does not eliminate hardship, but it changes your relationship with it. You no longer suffer unnecessarily, because suffering is the product of resisting what is inevitable or fearing what is uncertain. You accept the test, face it with courage, and respond with wisdom. This is how the mind becomes resilient. Each challenge accepted and met builds a foundation of strength, confidence, and clarity. You learn that nothing outside your control can truly harm you, and everything within your control is an opportunity to grow. Difficulties shape your character, define your actions, and reveal the depth of your inner strength. When the day brings trials, when events disrupt, when people provoke, see each as a test, a chance to practice patience, courage, and understanding, a moment to prove the strength of your mind and the steadiness of your spirit. Focus only on what you can control, because everything else is a distraction that drains your energy and clouds your judgment. Life presents endless variables, many of which you cannot influence: the actions of others, the outcomes of events, the twists of fortune. If you waste your attention on these, your mind becomes scattered, anxious, and powerless. The first step to mastering this principle is awareness. Notice when your thoughts drift toward things beyond your control. Perhaps someone criticizes you, or a situation does not unfold as you hoped. It is natural to react, but recognize that reacting does not change the uncontrollable. What you can control is your response, your choice of thought, and the actions you take within your capacity. Direct your energy there. Every day, remind yourself that external events are neutral. They are neither good nor bad in themselves. Only your interpretation gives them weight. If you focus on the uncontrollable, you surrender your peace. If you focus on what is yours to manage, you cultivate power. Your mind is the center of your life. Guard it carefully. When you face difficulties, instead of asking why this happened or wishing it were different, ask what can be done. What action is available? What attitude serves you best? This turns passive frustration into active engagement. Control what you can, release what you cannot. This does not mean ignoring reality or being indifferent. It means recognizing the limits of your influence and directing your effort to where it matters. Your thoughts, your actions, your discipline, your patience, these are all within your control. No one can take them away unless you surrender them. By focusing on what is controllable, you reduce unnecessary suffering. Anger fades when you realize you cannot change others. Anxiety diminishes when you accept uncertainty as natural. Worry loses its grip when you dedicate your attention to preparation, effort, and reasoned action. The mind becomes clear, sharp, and capable. Each challenge becomes manageable, because your focus is precise. The world will always present chaos, but your response does not have to be chaotic. You can act deliberately, calmly, and effectively. This clarity is a kind of freedom, a liberation from the tyranny of circumstance. People often fail to see this because they measure life by outcomes, rather than effort and intention. They chase control over the uncontrollable and feel powerless when it slips away. The wise mind recognizes that true power lies in mastery of self, not mastery of the external. Control your thoughts, and your emotions follow. Control your actions, and your influence spreads without struggle. Focus your energy on developing skill, patience, resilience, and reason, because these are assets that never fail. Every day, remind yourself that distractions are everywhere. Opinions, news, delays, mistakes, and failures will try to pull you off course. Let them pass through without taking root. Examine them, learn if needed, and release what you cannot change. The mind trained in this way grows stronger with each passing day. Small exercises, like pausing before reacting, examining your motives, and clarifying your intentions, reinforce this focus. Over time, the habit becomes instinctive. You stop wasting energy on what is outside your reach and direct it entirely toward what matters. This is the foundation of discipline and resilience. By controlling what is yours to control, you create stability in the face of uncertainty. You act with reason rather than impulse. You maintain calm while the world rages. You become dependable, effective, and unshakable, because your energy is concentrated where it has impact, not scattered on what is beyond your grasp. This focus transforms every difficulty into an opportunity, every distraction into a lesson, and every moment into a chance to exercise mastery over yourself. Discipline is stronger than motivation because motivation is fleeting, fragile, and unreliable. It comes and goes like the wind, sometimes present when circumstances are favorable, and absent when challenges arise. If you rely solely on feeling inspired, you will be at the mercy of your emotions, and your mind will be unsteady. Discipline, on the other hand, is the practice of doing what must be done regardless of how you feel. It is a decision made in advance, a commitment to act with consistency, even when the desire is absent. Each day you face countless choices to focus or to be distracted, to act with purpose or to drift, to respond with patience or with anger. Motivation may push you at first, but it will fade when difficulties appear. Discipline carries you through, because it is rooted in habit, in training, in the understanding that results come not from fleeting feelings, but from persistent effort. A disciplined mind does not wait for inspiration. It acts. It cultivates strength by repetition, by small actions performed consistently over time. This consistency is what builds resilience, clarity, and control. When you commit to discipline, you create a structure for your life. Your decisions are guided by principle rather than impulse. You do not rely on luck or circumstance to determine whether you act. You act because it is necessary, because it aligns with your purpose, because it strengthens your character. Motivation will always be influenced by the external world. A kind word, a reward, or a pleasing situation may spark it, but the world is unpredictable. Discipline is internal. It does not depend on what others say, on fortune, or on ease. It is the muscle of the mind, strengthened through exercise, through repeated practice of self-control, focus, and deliberate action. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, every time you resist distraction, every time you follow through when you would rather quit, your mind grows stronger. Challenges no longer intimidate you, because you have built the habit of persistence. Discomfort becomes manageable, because you are trained to endure and act despite it. The difference between motivation and discipline is like the difference between a gust of wind and a steady flame. Motivation may lift you temporarily, but it can die out suddenly. Discipline burns continuously, fed by habit, awareness, and commitment. You begin each day with discipline in small matters, rising on time, focusing on your tasks, controlling your thoughts and impulses. These small acts compound, forming the foundation of a mind that is unshakable. Discipline is also freedom. It frees you from the chaos of fluctuating moods, from the trap of waiting for the right feeling, from the anxiety of inconsistency. When your mind is disciplined, you are not tossed by desire, fear, or distraction. You are steady, capable, and in command of your own life. Training the mind in discipline requires deliberate effort. Start with what is small and manageable. Commit to completing tasks even when they feel difficult. Speak with care even when emotions rise. Act with reason even when instinct urges otherwise. Each success reinforces the habit, and each habit strengthens the mind. Over time, you notice that challenges no longer hold the same power over you. You do not wait for motivation to act. You do not fear failure, because discipline ensures you continue regardless of outcome. This creates a sense of confidence and inner stability that cannot be shaken by circumstance. Discipline transforms ordinary actions into meaningful progress. It shapes your character more than any sudden burst of energy or inspiration ever could. The mind trained in discipline becomes a tool for mastery, capable of facing difficulties, resisting temptation, and achieving purpose without depending on fleeting feelings. In this way, discipline is the true source of power, and motivation is only a shadow that appears briefly before fading, leaving the disciplined mind to continue its work steadily, consistently, and unshakably. Start each morning with purpose, calm, and clarity, because the first moments of your day set the tone for everything that follows. How you begin affects your thoughts, your decisions, and your actions. If you start in distraction, rush, or worry, the day will mirror that chaos. If you begin with intention, awareness, and stillness, the day will flow from that foundation. The mind is like a garden. Whatever you plant first will grow and influence everything else. Begin with calm and clarity, and your thoughts will be focused, your decisions precise, and your actions deliberate. Purpose is the compass that guides you. Without it, even the busiest day may pass without meaningful progress. Take a moment each morning to remind yourself of what matters most. What is your role today? What values will guide your choices? What actions will strengthen your character and move you closer to your goals? When you begin with purpose, every action, every decision, every effort has direction. Calm is the shield that protects you from the chaos outside. Life will always bring interruptions, frustrations, and challenges. If you start your day already agitated, these external pressures will amplify your stress and scatter your focus. Calm allows you to meet life as it comes, with composure, patience, and clear judgment. You maintain control, rather than being controlled by circumstance. Clarity is the lens through which you see the world, without distortion. It is the ability to separate what is important from what is trivial, to recognize what is under your control and what is not. With clarity, you avoid unnecessary suffering. You do not chase what cannot be attained. You do not waste energy on what does not serve your purpose. Together, purpose, calm, and clarity form the foundation of a disciplined mind. They shape the way you approach every task, every challenge, and every interaction. The morning is the most important time to cultivate this foundation, because it is when your mind is fresh, undistracted, and most capable of setting the tone for the day. Small, deliberate rituals reinforce this practice. A moment of quiet reflection, a few deep breaths, or simply sitting with your thoughts can align your mind with purpose. Reviewing your intentions for the day sharpens focus and reminds you of what truly matters. Avoid distractions in these early moments. Do not reach for your phone, the news, or social media. Let your mind settle, let your thoughts form, and let your intentions become clear. This discipline in the morning creates momentum that carries throughout the day. When challenges arise, you meet them from a position of strength. When others act irrationally or unfairly, your response is measured and calm. When tasks demand attention, you act with efficiency and clarity. Each morning, this practice compounds. Purpose grows stronger as you clarify your goals and values. Calm becomes easier to maintain as your mind trains itself to resist distraction and agitation. Clarity sharpens as you repeatedly practice seeing what is essential and letting go of what is not. Over time, your days begin to flow with more control and direction. You notice that chaos outside no longer dictates your inner state. The mind trained in morning discipline becomes a source of stability, a compass that guides your actions, and a shield that protects your peace. You respond rather than react. You act rather than drift. You focus on what matters rather than what is urgent but unimportant. In this way, the morning becomes not just a part of the day, but the foundation upon which your entire life is built, and the practice of starting with purpose, calm, and clarity becomes a lifelong habit that strengthens the mind, guides the spirit, and shapes every moment with intention.